With that, I'll introduce our speaker, Quentin Farley. I've known Quentin a long time, and he does indeed do a great job for the Nebraska Business Development Center, the PTAC folks, and he's going to tell you more about what they do, and he can do it a whole lot better than I can. So Quentin, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Steve. First of all, I just want to tell you how happy I am to be here to provide this all-important training for you, because tomorrow is a very important day. As you know, it's National Donut Day. So if you did not get a donut back there, please help yourselves and get your training on. So I'd hate to see you get a stomach cramp tomorrow. So anyway, Nebraska Business Development Center, PTAC, that stands for Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. And what PTACs do is they are missioned to assist businesses in the government contracting arena, be it federal, state, local. We are here to assist you to get you through those registration hurdles, to teach you how to market yourselves to these government entities, and just to help you understand that whole system and process. Nebraska Business Development Center provides a number of counseling services. So I have some of these flyers in back, and these focus on the PTAC services. That'll give you a little bit of an explanation of what PTACs do. And then also is our 2018 annual report. This came out last spring. This little booklet has success stories of clients we've serviced last year. And it'll just by hearing what we've done for them and reading their stories, it'll give you, it'll kind of paint a picture for you of maybe what we can do for your business. So Nebraska Business Development Center offers a lot of services, and PTAC is just a small part of it. So if you grab one of these, it's a good complement to all the resource providers we have in this state for services. As a PTAC office, we are funded through the Defense Logistics Agency. So our services are provided to you at what I call prepaid services. There is no fee to use me. You've already paid it through your taxes. So half of our funding comes from the Defense Department, half of it comes through the university system. So we get you at the state and federal level. So you will not see a fee for my services. But because of that, the funding agencies like to know what I've been up to. They keep tabs on me. So I'm going to pass this around, and if you could just sign that you attended this workshop. That's just part of my metrics of what I have to report. I let them know I did this workshop. I let them know how many people attended, and then they just verify it with these signatures. So if you would do that.
Sign here, Quentin, we
yeah,
sign.
start on that second one.
Second one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought. I want to make sure I did it right.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So you can do that. Okay. Also, I have some handouts here. We can get these passed around. I'll leave one for you here, Don. This sheet here, I just thought it'd be much easier to hand this out. This is a sheet of links to all the state and local purchasing websites. And I'll go through a little bit on some of them. I'm not going to cover each and every one of them. We'd be here far too long to do that. But once you get the idea of one, it's easy to pick up the concepts of the others. So I'm going to start out with state purchasing. The state purchasing office is a little fragmented. It is not electronic like the federal and some other state purchasing or other purchasing offices are. you have to do your research, and you have to focus in on agencies that you feel will purchase your goods and services. And they have a listing of agencies. You can just go there on their website. I have a link to the state purchasing site on here. Then you can do your research on each agency. So they do have a site for you to register. And the reason for this registration is you'll want to get in on their vendor list so that there's a chance for you to be notified when opportunities come up, but they still use a paper system. So when you go in and you register your business, you're basically downloading an Excel file and then mailing it back to them. And then when they have procurements come up, they will pull 10 to 20 vendors from that pool. So not everybody is going to be contacted. But they do have an electronic posting of many of their opportunities. So you want to keep your eye on those opportunities because you may not be contacted when those opportunities arise. Typical life of a contract with the state is 3 to 5 years, and they'll have renewal options after that. So one thing you want to look for is those contracts that are expiring, so that you can position yourself then to be one of the front runners to receive those contracts. And this is all services I can assist you with. I can show you how to go in and research those. This sheet here is just providing you the links to those opportunities, and then but feel free to schedule an appointment with me, and I'll help you navigate that. It's kind of tough to do that when you're not doing a presentation with visual aids, but some things you need to know about the purchasing power of the state government. Each agency has basically a $10,000 limit on what they can purchase without having to post that out for bid. So they can just call up someone, get a quote, and make that purchase under $10,000 and not have to have it competitively bid. Once it gets through over $10,000 and $10,000 to $25,000, it has to go through the purchasing department, and they'll have to get 2 to 3 bids and have to get approval and then move that through. And once it's over $50,000, it has to be posted through state purchasing, and state purchasing has to handle the review of those bids along with each agency. But it was one of the purchasing agents I was talking with, and this holds true for the university and the state. About 80% of their purchasing is done at that under $25,000 level. So there's a lot of opportunity there, but you have to position yourself. You have to market yourself. You have to get in front of them. Another thing to keep an eye out for on these solicitation sites are what are called RFIs, or request for information. At that point, they're not looking to issue a contract. They're looking to get more information on who's out there and what they can do. So in other words, they have a problem or they have a need for a product, but they may not know who's out there to deliver it. So they're going to post this and they're going to see who responds. So it's kind of like a blank slate. You know, they have a need here. They don't quite know how to get it done. So they're going to rely on the responses they get to tell them how they should write that solicitation. So it's your opportunity to position your business as the best solution to put out there for the solicitation. So if they like your solution the best, they'll write that solicitation to fit your proposal. And you've got a leg up on people because you may have processes, procedures in your approach that other businesses do not have and aren't ready to do. So your odds at winning that solicitation go way up. City and county, they have, and the university system, they have what's called an e-bid system. So they're all electronic. You can go to the city's website, which I have listed on there, and sign up. They'll ask you to choose commodity codes to help describe what your business does. So then when they post a solicitation in one of those commodity codes, you will get an email saying, hey, we just posted this solicitation. And so you don't have to keep watch on it. They will notify you. All the bids are submitted online. They're not on paper. Departments can purchase up to $3,000 with just a direct quote from a single vendor. $3,000 to $25,000, it needs to be an informal bid. But again, it doesn't have to be posted to the public. It could just be people they want to seek bids out from. So this is, again, this is where you need to be developing relationships. Over $25,000, it needs to be, well, for the city over 20, for the county over 20, for the city over 25, it needs to be a formal bid process, and that's where the procurement department then will get involved in reviewing those solicitations. Most contracts with the city and county are for 1 year with renewal options. Multi-year contracts need to be approved by the city council. So you can see where this becomes a marketing strategy and how you deal with these agencies. If you can keep the dollar figure down below that $25,000, they don't have, or keep those contracts 1 year and renewable, they don't have to go in front of the city council. They don't have to go through extra hoops to do business with you. And that's one thing you have to keep in mind in dealing with agencies. They're just like anyone else. They want to deal with people who do a good job and make their job easier. So if you know how to do that, you have a better chance of getting contracts. The e-bid system for the university and the city and county are the same system. They just have different facing on it and a little bit different navigations. If you're doing business with the university, the department heads are key in purchasing with the university. Under $5,000, or actually up to $25,000, they can sole source a project, so they don't have to put it out to bid. Once it gets over $25,000, it needs to go to procurement services, and then it has to be posted. So you kind of see a pattern here. You know, you kind of hit that $20,000-$25,000 mark, and you start getting into extra hoops and hurdles. And if you start doing more research on contracts that are put out there, you'll see a lot of contracts that bump up against that level just because they don't want to go through the extra hoops of dealing with that. Once it hits $250,000 to $400,000, the Vice Chancellor of Business and Finance needs to get involved to approve those contracts, and anything over $400,000, the Board of Regents get involved. So most of you are small businesses. You're not going to reach that level yet, but when you get there, you'll know what to do. On these links, the front page here, these are all different government entities to do business with here in Nebraska. You have the state purchasing, Lincoln and Lancaster County. LES has their own system in which you sign up, and then again, they will send you emails on solicitation postings. Lincoln Public Schools has their own, University of Nebraska, and then I did list the Omaha and Sarpy County websites as well. And the very last one there is Nebraska Public Power District, another large purchasing entity in this state. On the back side, I mentioned doing some research. This is at state level. The state has an archive of contracts that you can go to. You click on that link and you can go in and you can search by commodity, you can search by agency to pull up these past contracts. It's good to see what they've done in the past and how much they've paid in the past to utilize your goods or services. Down on videos, I have invited the procurement officers from a lot of these entities to present. It's called a Greet the Buyers event. I'll do that once a year. Haven't done one this year, but there are recordings of the last ones that were done. So state procurement presentation, the City of Lincoln presentation, the University of Nebraska presentation. That last one was done in 2016. The spending limits are out of date on that one, just so you know, but there's still some good information on there. The last video link I have on there is a disadvantaged business enterprise presentation, and that's with the Nebraska Department of Transportation. Now you may think, okay, that's just road construction, but the Department of Transportation needs many services across the state. For example, they need janitorial services for the rest areas as one. They may need catering services for some of their work sites. They may need repair services for their trucks. There's lots of different things that they purchase and utilize. But what a disadvantaged business enterprise is a special designation, or what they consider set-asides. And they have contracting goals to work with these disadvantaged businesses. And your disadvantaged status, this video goes and explains what categories all fill that. And if you want more information on that, you can sit down and schedule a time with me to talk about that. If you go back up, the second link from the top for PTAC services, that's a link to register with the Nebraska Business Development Center and with PTAC to request a time with me for a consultation. So if you're interested, you can hit that link, or you can talk to me and I can get you set up. So that's what I've had for my presentation today. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Yes?
When they're looking at contracts, so let's say it's a recurring service for 3 years, do they look at the total number of, or the total amount of the entire contract, or do they look at the annual cost? How do they evaluate recurring?
They evaluate it on a yearly basis. And again, that's kind of a tricky one to answer, because the university may look at it on a 3-year basis. The city and county may look at it on a yearly basis.
Is it kind of just situational?
So, yeah,
Okay.
I can't really blanket answer that.
All right, thank you.
Yes, John.
I had the privilege of working with those top 3 for 20 years. In fact, I had the office furniture assistance contract with the state, which would leverage to the city county, and leverage to the LES, which would leverage the city county. And just some short thoughts. Number 1, relationship. Number 2, relationship. Number 3, relationship. Number 4, trust. And the other key part of that was the state pretty much hates purchasing. But a lot of times what they get are requests from departments, and you touched on that, requests from departments. So you need to start building relationships with each of the departments, especially with the university. I missed some projects there, even though I had a contract with them. I missed some opportunities because I had gone all over my team had gone to all of the departments. on campus and out state, because there might be an ag request coming in from something out in Scottsbluff area or whatever that might involve equipment or services. And I didn't know about it. Somebody else either out in that area or here. So I can't overemphasize. My one-liner is, I knew the director of purchasing at the state for a long time. And the way I kept her happy is I kept jelly beans, Hershey's Kisses in her candy dish all the time. But that's part of relationships. But on any of these, I can't if you wait for something to come out, you miss it. One other quick aside, I got to do a major project for Council of Schools. Through a contact, I went in there and met the superintendent of schools. They were looking for us assistants, furniture, could do certain things. Now, for all steel is in Muscatine, Iowa. So it's a local state Iowa business. I helped them write a generic spec for what they wanted because they liked our concept for furniture. It was bid out. All steel came in very low. We got it. In spite of not being low bid, and of course that darn near created a lawsuit between the Council of Schools and the state. But you can, again, there is where you reference the opportunity where the RFIs, don't pass those up, but go in with your best foot forward and your creative side forward, because sometimes you can get a project, maybe even without it being bid, because you meet the criteria.
You know, one misconception about government contracting that I see a lot with clients is all I need to do is get registered and they'll give me a contract. And that's not how it works. The government marketplace is just like the commercial marketplace, only there's a few more hoops and hurdles to get through, and that's why I'm here, is help you get through those hoops and hurdles. But once you get those registrations, once you get all that information, it basically gives you a hunting license to go and sell your products and services to the government. But you have to do your homework, you have to do your research, and you have to market yourself just like you do in the commercial marketplace.
Some of those procurement people are not easy to get to. There's gatekeepers. And so in some cases, you almost have to build your relationship with the gatekeeper first in order to get to the decision makers.
So you've got the link here for looking at past state contracts. Do any of those other agencies have a place where you can look at past contracts?
I did not see any as I was going through them yesterday. I do have some research tools that we pay subscriptions for that will search some of those postings, but I did not see links on UNL's or the county city does. It's a little more difficult, and since it's the same software, I'm sure UNL's has it, but they face it differently than the city county does.
What's one of the most unusual businesses you've helped get into the government contracting?
Well, I can only talk about ones that have given me permission to talk about them. And I would say, and I've only been doing this 2.5 years, so I haven't had a tremendous amount of businesses, but International Propeller is an unusual company. What they do is they basically refurbish propellers for all kinds of aircrafts around the world. And if the propellers, they have to meet very tight specifications. They have to pass all kinds of inspections to make sure there are no cracks. If there is, the propeller gets thrown out, they have to get a new one. But they basically rebuild and renew propellers for aircraft. And when I visit with him, it's just amazing. You know, he is incredibly busy. He's a small business. There's only like 6 or 7 in his shop. And he fields phone calls from all over the world while I'm sitting there. What's that? It is local. It's a spin-off from Duncan Aviation. The gentleman worked for Duncan Aviation for a good number of years, and then Duncan decided they weren't going to service propeller aircraft anymore. And so they approached him and said, you know, told him what they were going to discontinue that service, but if he wanted to continue that service on his own, they would help him get started as a business. And that's what he did.
So who are is that through the federal aeronautics? Agencies as far as inspections and that?
Well, the FAA, it has to pass all of their, and they have to follow those regulations. I mean, they have to track where each part comes from, where it goes on their shelf, what propeller it goes onto, and all of that is in a report on that repair. Because if something happens, they have to try and trace it back to the source of the problem. So a lot of detailed records, a lot of precise measuring equipment. It's interesting. And then the broken propellers, the ones that are retired, he uses those as a canvas to paint scenery and things on, and they become art pieces. So that's kind of a side thing. He works with another company to paint the designs and sell those. So a lot of aircraft enthusiasts purchase those then. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Quentin. Outstanding.
Quentin, thank you very much for being here today. We appreciate it. No need to run off. Meet somebody new before you leave. Exchange business cards. Grab another donut. Have another cup of coffee. If you can hang around, that's great. Quentin will be here too to answer more questions if you have them. Next week, come hear about kombucha and how it's made and why you might want to drink it.